What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing well. Liverpool 0, Manchester United 0. Who expected that? I certainly did not. A point away from home, Manchester United's first draw of the season, and it comes at home to the great rivals at Anfield. My goodness me, football's a funny game. I've been saying that a lot recently. I've been saying football's a funny game, and some people have been saying, what are you talking about, Owen? And football's a funny game because you can go to Anfield on the back of really just horrific form, playing terribly, playing awfully, and pick up a point. I will try to focus on the positives first. Let's start with the positives and then get into what I think really happened in that game, because positives are nobody thought that was going to happen. Nobody thought we were going to pick up a point. It's a point that definitely we didn't think we were going to get. I think it's a point that buys Erik ten Hag. Honestly, it's that big of a result, like probably a couple of months, to be honest with you. The pressure that's going to be, if we lose next weekend, we got West Ham away, but still, it buys Erik ten Hag some time, certainly. And I have to give Manchester United a lot of credit for being resolute. I think we defended pretty well in the game. I think Rafael Varane was excellent. I thought Mainoo was the best technical midfielder on the pitch. Not that that's that much of a task. I thought Luke Shaw played well. I thought Diogo Dalot played well. I thought defensively we did well. Andre Onana, very shaky in the first half, kind of settled down as the game went on. So I think from that point of view, did well. I don't think, though, it can be overlooked just how poor of a football match that is, though, in terms of quality from both sides. I think it was an almost unique phenomenon that Manchester United at points played so bad that it actually pulled Liverpool down in terms of quality in that game. Because, Scott McTominay and Sofian Amrabat, I appreciate their efforts and their work rate and desire. Technically, as footballers, absolutely shocking. Them playing 1-2s together is horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. Every first touch goes up here. Every pass goes to about here. It's crazy stuff from both of them. Mainoo was by far our best midfielder on the pitch. His technique is just head and shoulders and miles above any of them, and actually nearly created a chance because of that. He's just a class above. And people forget that that's what his third Premier League start or something like that. Third. So I think that's a credit. I think it's one of those games still that you go, but if we play against a side that on their day really shows up, we might be in a bit of trouble, because again, the quality at points was really not there, but you take it. Again, the defenders absolutely did their job. And look, if the other team's playing badly, you can only play what's in front of you. And Manchester United certainly did that. Mentioned Rafael Varane. If there was any doubt about, he's lost his spot out to Harry Maguire because Maguire was playing well, which he has been. We did say that when Maguire gets injured, if he gets injured and Varane comes in, if he plays well, there's no reason for Rafael Varane not to carry on playing games. Got his spot back. He was sensational today. Absolutely brilliant. As was really the entire back four, back five, to be honest with you. Michael Oliver is a disgrace. I don't know this myth that goes around the Premier League or English football that he's the Premier League's best referee, because what he decided to do is he checked his watch and went, okay, it's 94 minutes. Oh, wait, no one's talking about me. I've got to make this about me. It's not about Manchester United or Liverpool. How dare I? No, it's got to be about me. I'm going to put an incorrect decision. It's a clear Manchester United throw. And then Dalot, rightfully so, says, that's a rubbish decision. And he books him twice. Whereas early on in the game, because you can say, well, you can't do that nowadays with dissent. Earlier on in the game, you get Darwin Núñez, give him that. Start clapping the referee after he booked him. That's double dissent. You want to talk about double dissent? Because that's what he sent him off for, double dissent, because he booked him once, or he told him, this is the decision, and then he reacted to it, so he sent him off. Well, Darwin Núñez earlier on in the game got booked. He clapped him and then said, that's fine. No problem. No issue. Mo Salah's telling people to get booked during the game as well. Nothing. No problem. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. But credit to Manchester United, because we have been so frail this season, right? So frail that would have caused us to collapse. I know there was like 90 seconds left by that point, but in past, I was expecting us to concede, frankly, straight afterwards. So a credit to Manchester United for that. Going forward, really, we had a couple of chances here and there. Rasmus Højlund had an opportunity, didn't he? Maybe should do a bit better, but it's the only chance of the game. Going forward, there's just kind of really nothing there. It's just kind of non-existent, isn't it? Anthony, incredibly frustrating during the game, because in a game that you don't have a lot of the ball and you're playing on the counter attack, you need someone that is going to be more efficient on the ball and not giving it away, cutting side, and then just the attack comes to nothing and suddenly you're under pressure once again. Garnacho on the left, again, he had desire and work for it, but he was kind of really the same as well in the game. And Højlund's wrestling and getting scraps. So to be honest with you, it's a strange game. It's a game that I think, again, really did lack quality, but I'll take it. I'll absolutely take it. Of course I'll take it. I think every Manchester United fan, when it got to half-time and it was 0-0, everyone was like, this is great. I can't believe it. Particularly how the game started as well. 3 minutes in, I tweeted out, I went, it's like 3 or 4 minutes. It's going to be a long 90, because it felt like that. But Liverpool got, I guess, progressively worse. The atmosphere kind of progressively died off. And that's a point that nobody thought we were going to get at all. Does it say a lot about where Manchester United are? Absolutely, that we're celebrating that. But after last year and after everything we've been through recently, absolutely you'll take it. But I still don't think, I think this is where you have to look at it from a balanced perspective and say, brilliant result, brilliant point. Didn't think we were going to get it. But at the same time, you can't get too carried away because it was a really bad game. It was a really bad game of football. But this is the full-time view. You can call in. You can have your say. If you're a member, if you do wish to become a member of the UV Members Club, you can do so. Links in the video description. It's also the pinned comment in the live chat. Or you can just click the join button. There are so many ways. And once you are a member, there's been quite a few new members today. I saw that on the match view. You can go over to the YouTube page, go to the community tab, and it's right there. Only for members, though. Full-time view link. You can call in. You can have your say. We'll get some calls very shortly. A couple of super chats before we start things. VK says, have a good week ahead. Owen, be positive. Thank you very much, VK, long-time supporter and moderator on the channel. One of my favorite accounts, Julian Flexcott, says our best game in ages was without Bruno. Is he Coutinho? I don't know if, though, you can really say that was our best game in ages, because I do feel like, and I know you can say, yeah, but it's Liverpool at Anfield, and I do appreciate that, but how many big saves did Onana have to make today? 2? The Van Dijk header, and there was one in the second half. But I mean, it's a strange game because we were under the cosh, but we kind of weren't under the cosh as well, you know? So there you go. Let's get to some calls anyway. Plenty of people to get to. Let's start off with Show, because Show, I believe the prediction, and to be honest, it's not even that much of a diss on you, was 6-0 when you were on here the other day, I think. How are you feeling after all of that?
No, I'm glad to be wrong. You know, I didn't want it to be 6-0. It's just what I felt it was going to happen. But, you know, I was happily surprised today. What I saw. I mean, look, it's like you said, you don't really want to see United play like that, but we kind of had to play like that today to get that point. Yeah, look, we saw our players fight, man. I mean, and again, that's how sad it is. You got to say that, but I mean, a lot of teams go to Anfield. Let's be real, like Anfield's probably in world football one of the top 3 hardest grounds to go to. You know what I mean? For any team
of the season.
Yeah, for any team, even for top teams, it's hard to go to, let alone a United team that's woefully out of form, can't score a goal and got about 15 injuries. So, you know, you do what you can to get what you can, and we got the point today. I thought we deserved it only because I think if Liverpool had peppered the United goal and Onana had made like save after save after save, I would have said, Liverpool deserved to win the game. But like you said, Onana didn't really have one super difficult save to make. And I mean, look, we never looked at scoring because, again, our decision-making in the final third isn't very good, unfortunately. Yeah. I thought on the ball, Anthony was... I mean, the thing is with him is that he works hard, so it's hard to criticize him in that aspect, but on the ball, it was woeful. On the ball, honestly, him and Amrabat, I thought were worst 2 players on the ball, but Varane, amazing. Kobe, amazing. I actually thought Højlund held up the ball quite well today, given sometimes, you know, Konate and Van Dijk were on him. I thought that was his probably best game in terms of holding up the ball, given the opposition he was playing against. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy we got the point there. But like you said, you know, it's one of them things that that's not a performance like we can take forward, because we don't want to play like that every week. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? Because it's one of those ones you have this sort of internal conflict in yourself, because you go, Look, it's a point away from home. It's Anfield. I mean, and everyone thought 6-0, 5-0, we all thought that was going to happen. So Liverpool, I feel like honestly, Liverpool fans, they're firmly in the mud, to be honest with you. It's the most in the mud they can be for a 0-0 because we ain't good. We are not good.
No,
And,
no, yeah.
today we weren't good. We weren't amazing.
No, we weren't. We weren't. Like I said, if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be embarrassed today. You have to be. You couldn't beat that, because especially what they've been saying about us, you couldn't beat it. So, people like AGT and that obviously loves to run his mouth a lot. Be embarrassed because you should be. And listen, I got week in, week out, these referees, they make mistakes, You then call them out on the mistake. Not only today do you get booked, you'll get sent off for it. Make it make sense to me. How? And then they said people will say, "Oh, it's 2 bits of dissent." I only saw 1 bit of dissent. I don't know where the second bit of dissent came from.
I thought that too. Because I saw when he got really angry, and immediately when he did that, I thought, "Oh, we get booked for that." But then when he sent him off afterwards, I went, "He taking the bit?" Because again, it's one thing. I've always said this with all of the rules, even if I don't like them or I don't understand them, that's by the by. It's just consistency and the application, not even just across the Premier League, but across 90 minutes of football. Is staggering because you have Darwin Núñez earlier on in the game, and it was very noticeable, like sarcastically clapping the ref after he's been booked, and nothing happens. And then, but it's Man United in the 94th minute, and look, we've seen show this season after we've gone down to 10 men or something's happened. I was expecting to concede straight away, right afterwards, and I think that's a credit to United still. But the worst thing is, it's 2 bookings, so I don't even think that can be overturned. If it was a straight red, it could be.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you can't appeal this. I think he'll be suspended for West Ham. Which is it? Because I actually thought, I was kind of worried. I thought Dalot I actually thought he had a pretty good, decent game defensively today. To be fair, I didn't think he was beaten that much on that. I thought actually Diaz do anything today? Actually, I think Dalot handled him very well. To be fair, so
they tried swapping sides a couple of times as well.
Both of them. Yeah, you're right. But these referees, the Premier League makes them untouchable, and then wonders why they make so many mistakes over it because there's no jeopardy for them. So like Mark Oliver could do something like that today, and zero punishment. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. It's mad to me because I can't stand referees anyway nowadays. But look, going forward, it'll be interesting to see how he sets the team up against West Ham and Villa because that'll be on the onus will be on us. Like we can't play like that, today like we did against against those teams. And it's like you said, I know you said it buys him a couple of months. I still think let's play out this scenario. Imagine then we lose against West Ham and Villa, like kind of undoes today. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're still 1 game away from
this is the thing. This is always is. It's how it is, and especially like imagine it's the manner of it. Like imagine like West Ham score like it's like another 3-0 like Bournemouth. Then again, people won't talk about the result anymore. They'll just say, look, back to typical old United, frail and that kind of stuff. So look, it'd be interesting to see now if Varane can keep his place in the team because I thought Varane kind of made Ten Hag look a bit silly today because I just think that's when I'm sorry, like look, I'm frustrated with Varane's fitness, but when Varane's fit, he plays simple. I don't care about this Maguire remontada and all this kind of shit that people want to say. Maguire isn't fit to lace Varane's boots, So when Varane's fit, he plays simple. So I hope he stays in the team from now on. He's the one who should have had a captain's armband today anyway. It's a disrespect to him that McTominay is captain over him. That's another disrespect from Ten Hag. But look, I'm happy for Varane that he had the game here today. And like you said, Kobe was another good player. But I don't know. It's weird. I don't really know what to say because I wasn't expecting the point. So that's why I'm just like.
That's what I'm like. I'm kind of like, oh, quick! If we just get away, no one will notice. So we actually got a point.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's wild. But big up to show. Appreciate you calling in as always. Click the like button if you haven't already, guys. We've got over 700 people watching. Let's see if we can get a lot of likes today. A lot of the time recently, I haven't even really bothered asking for the likes because what's there to like? Realistically, not about the show, obviously, but I mean the performance. So this time there is something to like. So if you haven't already, click the like button and be sure to subscribe while you're at it. Bottom right hand corner. Let's go to Chalaboy Comics. What do you make of that today? I guess room to be positive at last.
Yeah. Hello, Owen. I am very, very happy today because I don't think any Manchester United fan went into that game without the biggest knot in their stomach. It was one of those games where it was a defensive masterclass, and I just want to actually big up the lads because that was a performance that they owed us. And what I mean by that is we have been so, terrible, and weak and frail of late, right? That this was a game that if we were that, we'd have got destroyed, and every Manchester United fan was upset. But instead, the guys got on that pitch and they put a committed performance, a resolute performance. It had to be that way because this was Anfield and the largest crowd since what, the 40s, right? So it had to be that type of a game. Jose Mourinho would have done exactly this and shut up shop. Ferguson used to make us really hard to beat when we came to Anfield. So I'm not gonna criticize the boys for that, type of game. And we did get our chances on the other end. And if we were a bit more clinical, we could have stolen that game. So I'm very happy. I want to start with the positives before we sort of talk about the ins and outs of the game. But they now need to say, okay, this is the level of commitment we have to provide every single day. We have to say thank you as fans to them, but at the same time, they owe us this for the rest of the season. It has to be an equivalent exchange of gratitude. So I'm really happy about this result because God knows I was nervous beforehand.
I know, you and me both, and it was weird actually because not that I didn't care or anything like that, but then once it got to the point where you started to think to yourself, actually, we could get a point here. Then it's really like the heart started to sort of peak. You went, oh my God,
Right.
like we could get something from this game, which is crazy.
Exactly. It was that kind of a classic. It was a classic in a tactical way where one side was all out attack, the other side was defending, And I felt that we had the best player on the pitch in Rafael Varane. He was, when I watched that game, I was like, this is honestly one of the best defending I've ever seen. When the cop end is crashing on us. Varane's a guy who stands tall. It was one of those vintage performances that I think if we look back, we'll sort of have this in his highlight reel of one of his best games that he's played because we needed that from him. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely, it was. Mainoo, what did you make of him today? I mean, he's in single figures for Premier League starts. He's 18. He's probably our best technical midfielder on the pitch. How impressed were you by him today?
I was very impressed. What I would say is that we didn't have enough of the ball, and so we didn't get to see him with the ball as much. But whenever he got the ball, you could see why he's in the team. And unlike McTominay, I don't want to criticize him too much, but McTominay was pretty much hiding from the game, from the ball, pretty much the whole first half, whereas Kobbie Mainoo was showing for the ball. And I think that was why we struggled as a whole, is because we were always one player down in every sort of like zone, it felt like, because Anthony will have the ball, but he has no options because Kobbie shows for the ball, maybe Delo, but then there's no McTominay coming to link the play on the other side. So that really caused us to be a little bit off, but I think Mainoo had a really strong game, and I was very proud of his performance as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And moving forward, I mean, I was talking to Show just then about does it buy Erik ten Hag time? Are we still in the same situation we were before the game? Still a game away from a crisis and all that kind of stuff, or has this bought Erik ten Hag a little bit of extra time? Do you think?
I think it's bought him time, only because that was a well-organized team against a really dangerous Liverpool. We made them look bad. Our defending was that good. And so it's one of those situations where Ten Hag, when his instructions are applied and, there's application from the players, we get good results, right? So I think the focus should be on the players and say, hey, listen, this has to be the level of commitment we see from every game. That's the bare minimum. It can't only be for the big games that you rise up, and then when it's a smaller game, you sort of shut down. So this is honestly a gauntlet that's been thrown in terms of the ferocity of which we should attack games and match that every single day. Stick to the plans, as Ten Hag says, stick to the rules and principles. So I think it buys them time, and let's see what we can do in terms of a next step.
Indeed, let's see what we can do in terms of the next step. Big up Chalaboy Comics calling in. As always, let's go to another call. Let's go to Pav. Pav, I think none of us expected us to get anything from today. So a point we did. What did you make of it all?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were going to lose. I wasn't going to sit there all week predicting a scoreline. I just thought we were going to lose and it was going to be that. But I take the draw. I'm not going to celebrate a draw because you know what I mean, that's a bit shameful celebrating draws unless it's going to win you or progress you to a next round of a cup or win you, I don't know, in a title race or something. Yeah, but to be fair, I said early on, I was in the United View chat, and I said we've got shape and we've got composure at the back, and I
I did
think we
see
had
you
that
say
all
that
game.
actually. Yeah, like after like
Yeah,
about 20
I
minutes or
saw it. I
so,
was like,
something like that.
okay.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. The defense is looking decent. Um, and Arna weren't doing anything crazy. He did do that one little skill move I think it was in the first half.
I can't
But
believe the attacker bought it, by the way, because it was the most obvious thing
I
you've
know.
ever seen in your life.
But
Still.
yeah, the defenders, Varane as well. I've said it for time. How many times did I come on here and saying I found it disrespectful and disgraceful how Varane's being treated by fans as well. I saw a lot of fans as soon as Ten Hag does saying they're all like praising him. Yeah, back the manager and this and that. Play your best players, and Varane showing what he's capable of. And yeah, he was probably the man of the match. Delo had a good game. I was surprised because I was like, I thought in this game, Wan-Bissaka would have come back, try lock down Luis Diaz, but
Yeah.
Delo done a good job. Going forward was pretty poor, and I mean, the whole front line was poor. It
Yeah.
stunk. And he's obviously got to do something to sort that out because we can't keep going into games and none of our forwards are scoring. Like there's been that stat being flowing about on Twitter at the minute about Sanchez, the last forward that scored at Old Trafford and all this and that.
Yeah, and did you see the one with Højlund and Martial, like the two strikers in the Premier League with the lowest
Yeah, I
like
feel
service limit as well?
I've said it for time. I feel sorry for the kid because he's come here, he's not scored a single Premier League goal. There's people turning on him. I've said, what was the point of spending £72 million on him when Weghorst was doing the same and that guy coming here on a loan? Like, if the manager brought him in, you should have a plan how to get this guy goals. Because clearly, even with Garnacho, he's not really creating anything. He's young. The pressure shouldn't be on him to do it. Rashford clearly don't create. Anthony, I'll be honest, I want the guy gone. He ain't gonna do nothing for us either. So the club needs to figure out to do something with this Højlund kid because he can't just come in and be turned into strikers from the past that have come in doing graveyard shifts. We can't keep doing that. Either
Yeah.
you bring in another supportive striker who can play make a little bit to help him out. I can't see the midfielders creating anything. Even if Bruno was on the pitch today, I don't see him doing anything. And to be fair, I think we wouldn't have been as good as we were at the back if Bruno was playing as well. So maybe it was a bit of a luck for us that he wasn't in the game. Not that
Yeah.
Scott McTominay did anything for us because he was poor. That guy couldn't pass for it, like for anything.
No.
And I've
Amrabat
just
as well.
yeah. To be fair, I mean, with Amrabat, I don't think he's going to be that player that we expected him to be. I think he's going to be there. He
No.
could do an okay job, but if we're going to sign the guy on permanently in the summer, he has to be someone who comes off the bench or can cover if someone's injured. But him being there, like starting 11, I can't see it happening. I don't think he's good enough to do that role. And I've said it many times, like just because we've drawn against Liverpool doesn't mean Ten Hag's been given extra time. Because any other pragmatic manager could do what Ten Hag just did there, which was sit back and hopefully get a counter attack. We probably had one good chance, and that was the ball. I think it was it Rashford who whipped it in, and it just went past everyone, or was it Anthony? One of the two.
There was the Højlund opportunity, which was a bit of a one-on-one difficult gap, and then there was the one which there was the Garnacho one as well. To be honest,
yeah,
like
whipped
again,
across the floor.
the Garnacho one that came from a brilliant Kobe Mainoo pass that was like past the fullback, and if actually when you look back on it, and Garnacho just gets a bit done. I think it's Trent who just puts a bit of a hand on him, and then he just goes down for whatever reason. I don't really know why with that, but you're right. I mean, it's very slim pickings, and also when you play away again at Anfield, it's always going to be slim pickings, offensively. So when you do get that opportunity, you need your people to be, I mean, beyond ruthless. It's got to be one chance a goal. If you get a half chance, it's got to go on target, or it's got to work the goalkeeper.
Yeah,
or
you have
something
to
like
to take your chance, especially when you're coming up against someone who like the fans are saying they're in a title race. That team's in a title race,
Yeah.
and from the previous years, you know what's happened. So if you do get a chance, mate, you have to take it. I don't care if it's the one chance. But like, look, we didn't get embarrassed, so that's a plus. I'm not gonna celebrate it. Um, Ten Hag needs to still do better because, mate, your job is on the line. The people are watching you. Ratcliffe, Dave, Blanc, whoever it is coming in, they're watching you. The players going for it. You lot need. I don't know what you lot are doing in training. And by the way, I need to ask this one question. Last year we were bigging up this guy, one of the coaches. What's his name? The guy, Flex called him Quinton. I forgot his name. Benny McCarthy.
Yeah.
What is he doing with the forwards this year?
I
Because no
don't
one
know.
seems to mention it. Last year we were like bigging this guy up. I remember all season we were bigging us up. What are you doing with these forwards? Do something with them, man. But it's boring to watch a match when your forwards aren't doing anything. So whatever you want to call him, Quinton, Benny, mate, do something, man. And
Yeah.
just before I go, because I knew I'd get Simbin if I said this about the referee. There's a reason why you lot get punched up in certain countries, bro. But you're doing stupid things like
God. He knew as well. He knew as well. He knew as well. Of course, we don't advocate for violence here on United View towards referees or anything like that. Respect the officials, even though they are disgraces and cheats. But I wouldn't recommend a punch to the face or anything like that. But he was smart. He did it at the end of his call because he knew it was going to not last that long. We're less than 150 likes still, by the way, guys. Over 700 people watching still. If you haven't already, click the like button. See if we can get it to 200 likes or 250 as well. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Amanor. Amanor, didn't expect the point, but we'll take it certainly, right?
Yeah, I mean, I predicted a 3-0 loss when I was on the full-time review last time. So yeah, I was surprised. I was, and I want to say the certain players I want to talk about, but I actually want to start with the manager. I thought he got a tactic. I'm glad he wasn't stubborn. I'm glad he realised that his job is on the line, and he recognised that I don't want to start 7-0 thrashing. I need to change,
Yeah.
and he played a 4-3-3. I may be wrong here, but in the first half, was it a 4-3-3 or 4?
Well, he played. I think it was more like definitely out of possession. It was like a 4-3-3.
4-3,
McTominay was
yeah.
definitely McTominay was the highest. McTominay was in sort of the Bruno role, the 10 role. But certainly he got a lot of people when we were out of possession behind the ball and
Yeah.
and you can't argue with defensively. Defensively, we were very
No.
resolute. He got that right.
No.
Offensively, maybe not, but I'm not really sure what else he could have really
No,
done
but
options wise.
And exactly. So I mean, like offensively, we were just poor because there was no into the build-up player triangles from defense through midfield up to attack. It was just non-existent, and it was one of the worst attacking performances I can remember. I can't remember a match like that where we maybe the Bayern game, but actually in the Bayern game we still managed to do build-up play. We just couldn't execute. This was worse in terms of attacking play. But going back to the manager, I thought he drilled. I could see for the first time he drilled these players. He could see they were doing stuff on the training pitch, and when they didn't have the ball and how they should be setting up against Liverpool. The fact that Mo Salah and Diaz had relatively quiet games, is a respect to the team, especially the defenders. So Ten Hag's job is not safe still. I'm still Ten Hag in, but I'm allowed to criticize my manager. But today I can't criticize him much because I think, given the resources he had, I think he did okay. I agree with the part that you don't celebrate a win, but for me, I am pleased that they did not get mauled because I was just thinking if they got hammered 4-5-6-0, the next couple of games that could have been the end of not just Ten Hag, but it could have been the end of some of these players mentally. So that's the first thing I want to say with the manager in terms of setup, and in-game management was okay. So I'll give the manager some respect. Actually, a lot of respect actually in that for this match. Players wise, Scott McTominay. I've got to start with Scott McTominay. There's three players I want to talk about really before I go on and talk about the Raider or the Phantom. Scott McTominay first half, I swear he doesn't know how to control the ball when there's a throw in. First half, Rowan.
It doesn't have to be a throw-in. It doesn't have to be a throw-in. It's just like every touch, it hits his foot and it goes up. I don't know how. It goes up in the air.
And when he was trying to, when he had the ball on his, when he had the foot on, when he had the ball at his feet and he's trying to drive, he loses the ball. Then, so I'm thinking, you can't even do that. These are like the basics of football. I'm not a footballer, but come on. I expect you to be able to control the ball. I expect you to at
Mm.
least do that. I know he goes missing, and he was going missing. But I thought he was relatively poor. But Amrabat, I'm worried for Amrabat for his United career. I don't think he's a Man United first 11 player.
Mm.
And I think in his mind he knows how he wants his body to move, but I just think he hasn't got the legs for it. It just
Yeah.
seems to be like at least half a second late or half a second there, and he hasn't got the legs for the Premier League. So I do fear
Yeah.
for him, and in one sense, it's probably a good thing that we didn't sign him permanently. It's a good thing that we have
Yeah.
signed him on a loan with a view to buy. But yeah, it does. I don't know about you, Owen, but do you think if you had the option of bringing Fred back for Amrabat, would you do that, or would you actually release Amrabat and look for somebody else?
I think it's a difficult one because I think, like you said, I do agree when it comes to the Amrabat signing, it's worked to our benefit that it's a loan because I'm with you. I don't think we should make that one permanent. I mean, look, he might turn it around, but I watched him today in that first half, and him and McTominay trying to play 1-2s together was almost comical actually at times.
Mm,
Like, I mean, it really was. I mean, it was like, touch up in the air, pass goes to about here or anything like that. And I thought Kobbie Mainoo put him to shame
yeah,
technically on the ball. And that's not because Kobbie Mainoo's so great. I think he's a fantastic young player, but I think it's also just you just go, that's an 18-year-old kid, and he can trap the ball and he can pass it and he looks comfortable under
yeah,
a bit of a press. You just don't see that from McTominay and Amrabat. And I get that you would say, well, maybe they're not those type of players, but we're talking, I think, basic sort of fundamentals.
yeah,
Basic
exactly.
fundamentals.
The basics about press resistant, keeping the ball, scanning. I would go to say that Mainoo, 18-year-old, he was probably the best midfielder on that pitch in terms of what he was doing. I think Liverpool. Who was the guy? The Japanese
Szoboszlai, he
guy.
went off. Szoboszlai went off.
Szoboszlai. Who's the
Endo.
Japanese guy?
Yeah,
Endo.
reckless. Yeah.
He was not as he was. I think Mainoo was better than him, but they
Mm,
were playing the same position. So Mainoo has got growth. Yes, he's not physically there because he's 18 years old, but in terms of his intelligence and he's press resistant and finding the pass. Remember that pass he fed through to Garnacho and Garnacho just
yeah.
couldn't take it.
Yeah.
I could see, hold on, this guy's got levels to him. He can go up and up and up. So Amrabat's got, not sure. Anthony, I'm losing. I think I'm losing my. I'm coming to the end of Anthony in terms of
Mm,
becoming a United player. Yes, he works hard defensively. When he hasn't got the ball, he's really good. But we haven't brought him to that. He reminds me of
yeah.
Weghorst. When we said last year, Weghorst is our defensive striker. Anthony is our defensive right winger.
Yeah.
He does defensively very well, but when he's got green grass in front of him, he just needs to run and cross with his right foot. He refuses to do that. He cuts off on his left. And you know what makes it worse? Not even when he cuts off in left and it doesn't work out. There's a couple of times in the second half, he receives the ball and he tries to flick it like a backheel flick to somebody and loses it a number of times. So I'm thinking, you can't even keep hold of the ball. And we're away at Anfield. We just need somebody just to keep hold of the ball, use his knowledge, and just get us a throw-in, get us a free kick, or just push us up the field. This
Yeah.
guy is just not. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bit too harsh, but long
I don't
term,
think I don't think you are. I don't think you are. I think, like I said, for me, I think when you look at the Manchester United great teams of the past, you can be under the cosh for the majority of the game, but that one moment that you do get the ball, I mentioned that you have to be efficient, and he's just
yeah,
not efficient when he has the ball. I mean, there was a chance in the second half where Onana did a drop kick, and it went all the way out to Anthony on
yes,
the right
yeah,
hand
yeah,
side. And I thought, right, and he actually managed to go past the player, and I thought, brilliant. And then it just kind of petered out into nothing. And I thought, that kind of sums him up,
yeah,
or
yeah,
sometimes in the first half, he'd get the ball on the right and try and cut inside, doesn't go past the player, couldn't go past Simicast. And you're sort of going, you need to, when those, like Pav was saying, when those rare chances come, you've got to make them count. You've got to do something with it. You can't, and like you said, you want to weigh it up because you go, defensively, he helped out Dalot today, absolutely. But
yeah,
it gets to the point where you go, well, that's not enough long term, is it? You
yeah,
need more. You expect more.
yeah. And I'm just because Anthony may not be the player that we need long term, but neither is Palestri. But at least with Palestri, I know what he does the basics well. He can run. He will make sure he shields the ball. So those are three players I want to call out. But I mean, I don't want to repeat other people saying Varane was man of the match for
Mm,
me, from a United player. Mainoo was exceptional. I think Pete, you may have touched on it. I thought Hoyland and Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw played well and Dallo played
Yeah.
well. We need to give them respect as well, because I wasn't convinced Dallo playing right back, because I thought he might get cooked, but he did relatively well. And Luke Shaw both played well for me. They did the basics well. They were able to defend. So those are the players I want to give them a really good shout out. But I've got to be honest, this referee, yeah, I don't know, Owen. This double descent, I think I've never heard of this double descent booking, but
I
it's
didn't.
ridiculous. You can give it,
Mm.
give him a yellow card for one descent, but then to give it twice in the 92nd minute when the game's going to be ending in about 2 more minutes, it's just absolutely ridiculous. In terms of the next match, though, Owen, I don't know about you, but I'm going to sound a bit controversial here, but when we now play against top 4 teams or top 3 teams, there's a question of whether we play like that as a defensive format and consider dropping the big players and bringing them off the bench. I mean, I'm referring to Bruno. So my question would be, if we play against Arsenal or Man City, do you start like that? And if depending on where you are at half time, then bring on the big guns, for example, Rashford or Bruno?
I think Bruno will start. I mean, we got West Ham next away from home. They were very comfortable against Wolves today. They're playing quite well this season. Bruno will start. And I think the Ten Hag will look at it as, maybe if we'd have had someone in the midfield in the 10 role instead of maybe Scott today, that was a bit more, again, efficient on the ball, would we have done better? But Bruno can be just as wasteful, can't he? So people will point to it. People will point to it and say that's one of our bigger results of the season, and Bruno wasn't playing. So it's going to be interesting, certainly. Isn't
And
it?
is that our first point against the top 90? I don't know what the record is. Is it wins or lost draws?
Away from home. I
nine,
mean, I think, we got a draw against Spurs towards the end of last season, didn't we? That was a 2-2, but I think that's about it. I think it's, you know what I mean? It's crazy, isn't it? That's
Thank you,
where we're at the moment. Big up, Amador. Appreciate you calling in as always. Where are we at for likes at the moment? We are 21 likes away from 200. If you haven't already, click that like button. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Riri. Riri, what were your thoughts on that? What were your predictions going into the game? And certainly didn't lose. We'll take it.
Hey, Eric. My prediction going into the game was 2-1 actually to Liverpool. I didn't have them like trashing us, because Liverpool hasn't really been playing great football. So I wasn't one of those people that thought it was going to be like a shellacking or whatever. But I think both teams played subpar football today.
Yeah.
I wasn't impressed by either team. Our midfield today, oh boy. Scott McTominay, man, I don't even know how this dude got the armband. This dude he's been a passion merchant. I don't know how he has survived how many managers now? Like, I think it's 4.
Yes, it's Jose, isn't it? So it's Jose, Ollie, Ralph, Eric. Yeah,
4 managers.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't get it. Anthony today, for me, going forward, I wanted to like drag him off the pitch, man. Like, going forward, he was just like, you just said it just now with Amanor, that one pass that Onana gave him, and he beat the player, and he's going up, and then all of a sudden he slows up, and I'm screaming at the television. I'm like, why are you slowing up? Like, just run into the box. Like, why are you slowing up? And I'm just like, I don't know what goes through his mind when he gets to like the final third, and then he just slows it down, and I'm like, just push it.
I agree.
Push it.
I agree. And what do you think of Rafael Varane though today? Lots of people giving him man of the match.
Varane, hands down, Varane man of the match. The amount of headers Varane put out of that box today, I don't think people like were counting and saw how many headers like he literally dispersed out of the box today. Varane for me is like the he's so calm. He's so calm. Like, he plays football so calm, and he's straight fundamentals. Like, Varane for me is fundamentals. Like, he doesn't do anything, crazy. He sticks to the fundamentals of the game, and he makes it look easy. For whatever reason, Eric Ten Hag was trying to prove a point and had him on the bench, and I'm hoping that's over for however long we have him, because I don't see him staying. But for however long going forward that we have him, I think he should play, because
Yeah.
now we don't have a busy schedule. We're out of the European, Europa. We're out of everything. We only have Premier, the PL and maybe the FA coming up
Yeah.
next year. But
Yeah.
so he's not gonna be playing that many games, and I think he can be able to be in the squad going forward until whenever he leaves.
No, I totally agree. I totally agree. And just finally, also as well, Kobe Mainoo as well.
Cubby, Mainoo today for me, best midfielder today for us. Best midfielder after Mainoo, Amrabat. I think Amrabat and Mainoo in that holding right there is great. We, little Yo-Yo was saying in the chat, and I agree with him. Today was a glaring identifier that we miss Ericsson. Or I should say we miss a player like Ericsson in the midfield that has the vision to disperse the ball where it needed to go. McTominay is not it. I will take the draw. I will take the draw. I will definitely take the draw. I am, I'm not yay celebratory, but I will take the draw because it's a draw. It's a point. I will take the point. But that midfield, I just hope our injured players can come back. I guess we have Bruno for West Ham. Is Bruno back? Yeah. So I guess I don't know if he's going to. I guess Bruno will come back in for Mainoo, but yeah. Today McTominay wasn't it. He shouldn't have had the armband. I think Varane should have had the armband. He was giving more directions to the players than Scott was. And he was hyping the players up, and he was, he should have been the captain today, and he was the man of the match today, hands down.
Yeah, I agree. Big up, Riri. Appreciate you calling in. We've got a super chat here from Chalaboy Comments back once again. Says, Liverpool versus Arsenal next weekend will give us an idea of our true level. Let's see if Arsenal can win or draw at Anfield, and the manner they do it in, then compare it to ours. Agree, disagree. Because I think that if Liverpool play like that against Arsenal, they will get battered. I really do. I think Arsenal will rip them apart. I think that they actually might be a bit happy that they've got that out of their system. Because if you play like that against United, you can still get a draw. If you play like that against Arsenal, they'll punish you. And I don't think Liverpool will play that bad as well. I was just really surprised just how poor Liverpool became in the game. It's an odd phenomenon sometimes when a team's playing so bad and almost erratically. Sometimes it can drag the opponent down, and I feel like that's kind of what happened today. Our sort of real lack of quality at points kind of dragged them down a bit, and then we ended up where we ended up. But we'll take it absolutely. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Lucas Chan. Lucas, what are your thoughts on all of that? Nice to see you as always.
Hey, Owen, it's good to see you. And you stole my point. Liverpool played to Man United level. We dragged them to our level. We dragged them into the mud.
Yeah, we absolutely did.
We're like, you're going to play like mud today because we play like mud. So, but no, I actually predicted a win for United last week. At the end of Bayern Munich, I said they would win 1-0 United. But I don't know if you remember that in a super chat.
Nearly got there though. Nearly.
I thought we would just sneak at 1-0, and I just thought we could finally get this over with, this Anfield curse with us. But no, I think we need to give ourselves more credit. This is Anfield we're talking about. This is one of the highest scoring teams in the Premier League. They always score. Like Liverpool always score, and we kept them at a 0-0. This is their first 0-0 time they haven't scored since April last year against Chelsea, which was 0-0. So it's been a long time since Liverpool have been held to a goalless draw or not scoring any game. So I think United need more credit for that. Like we did not let them get a good flow into the game. We just we made it dirty for them, which was great to see.
I think that is fair. I think you definitely saw that in the second half in particular. Like it's almost like we ourselves started to believe after maybe sort of 70 minutes ago, and actually we might be able to get something out of this game. We didn't think that was going to happen. Do you think that can be a bit of a catalyst for us going forward? That actually, going away from home, it's not an amazing performance. It's not something to crow about completely,
Yeah.
but it could be the beginning of something to maybe build upon.
No, it's definitely saying that we can't. Maybe it's just like more of a mental thing. They can finally mentally say we can compete. We just Mainoo, like he was just giving it to the crowd, like when he was coming off, like he's really like throwing it, leaving everything on the line, and it just seemed like everybody was leaving everything on the line today, which was just finally good to see. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Like everybody put in their defensive work today, and there was no clear. I didn't think there was any clear-cut chances Liverpool really had. Like they had chances, but it wasn't like it's like, oh, they really need to put that away or anything.
Yeah. I think if they'd have scored from any of sort of the saves that Onana made, we'd be really criticising the goalkeeper, certainly, because I think they're saves he should make. What did you think of Rafael Varane? Look, he's been on the bench quite a lot recently. Came in against Bayern, was really good against Bayern Munich, playing at left centre back. I think he played at left centre back again today. Has he proven Erik ten Hag wrong? Has he got his spot back in the team, do you think?
Well, hopefully he gets a spot back in the team, but I thought Johnny Evans was really good today, actually. I don't know. Like, I thought Varane was good, but I also thought Johnny Evans was really good as well. I see like so much praise for Varane because he finally came back in, but Evans was injured and he wasn't really playing and he just came back in. So I think he deserves a lot of credit as well. Like both, it was just a great defensive partnership, which was good to see, but definitely not one that we want to look for in the future, but it will have to do for now, which is, what we got to see. But
yeah, absolutely. I mean, with going forward, you look at, that front three still kind of struggling to sort of score goals and chances. How do you think Ten Hag resolves that? Is that a case of when some of these bigger players come back, your Eriksen's, Casemiro's, etc., Rashford's just come back from illness, if he can find form? Is that what it's going to be about? I mean, are you concerned about the likes of Antony and others?
So I actually honestly think our biggest problem is Scott McTominay. I honestly think he just can't link the field between the midfield and the attack very well. I always feel like it breaks down with him. Yes, he's very good at scoring. But even the Brentford game, I was like, oh, he scored 2 goals, brilliant. But I don't want him to start. But you got to reward him for playing well and getting those goals and keeping him Ten Hag safe and less under pressure. But it's just with Scott McTominay, I just see him as a bench player. I don't see him as a starter. I don't want to see Scott McTominay start. I want to see him come off the bench when we're struggling and we need that goal. That's when I want to see Scott McTominay come on. I don't like seeing him constantly starting every single game because we know his game. He can arrive in the box, get a foot on something and hopefully score. But I guess, I feel like because we're not getting many, I don't even think we're getting many chances with Scott McTominay in the team. So I can't really blame our front line for that. If they're getting chance after chance after chance and it's just not scoring, then you can say, okay, there's something wrong there. But there's just not many chances, I feel, anyways, with Scott McTominay in the team. So I just feel like the balance is off there. That's my opinion.
It was I pointed out to Pavel, and we spoke about it. There was a stat going around saying that Højlund and Martial have basically had the sort of least amount of passes into them this season of any striker in the Premier League. And I think that, where do you stand on Rasmus Højlund at the moment? Do you think, again, do you sympathise for him? Do you think he should be doing a bit more? Flex was kind of saying the other day, he just thinks that he's just not ready to be leading the line at Manchester United at the moment. What do you make of him?
I like Højlund. He's got the passion. He's a striker that can stay fit, but I feel like we haven't really played to a proper striker since I guess it would be since Lukaku, and even then we didn't even play that well to Lukaku. It was just he was just a poacher striker. It felt like he was really good at holding up because of his Timberland boots and everything. But and then before that, the last good striker we had was Ibra. So it's been a long time coming since we've had a good striker.
We got a visitor backstage.
That's my wife.
Got a visitor. There you go. Hello, Mrs. Chan. Look at that. There you go. There you go. Happy that we got. She happy we got a point as well.
Yes, I'm very happy with the point. It's Anfield.
Is she happy that she got a point?
She'll be happy because I'm happy.
There you go. Perfect. There you go. Big up, Lucas. You never know what's going to happen on the full-time view. You never know. I love the internet. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's brilliant. The EV community is unmatched. It's unmatched, certainly. So, let's go to another call. Let's go to Lil Yo-Yo. Lil Yo-Yo. I mean, last time you were on, we had a moment of silence. I don't think we need that. I think you called for another one. I heard before the game as well. So that's two.
I did, yes,
Two
yes.
moments of silence.
Because listen, right? So we were hoping and praying for something to happen today. And you know what? We finally got our first draw of the season against Liverpool at Anfield. So I think our prayers and hopes did work. It's better than expected.
I mean, I wasn't expecting this. I don't know what to expect from you sometimes. I wasn't expecting you to come on and kind of claim almost credit for the 0-0 through prayer. I wasn't.
Why not? I can.
I wasn't expecting.
And to be fair, I've also included atheists who hoped for something to happen. So we like to be inclusive of everybody.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
There we
all
go.
Faiths,
Exactly.
All faiths, all spiritualities.
Exactly.
Which players stood out for you today? Did Varane get you man of the match, or did you give it to Mainoo or someone else?
So, like everybody has said, I think we should give credit to the whole defense and the goalkeeper because as a unit, we defended very well. Liverpool were very wasteful when it came to the final third. They could have done more, and they definitely should have scored if you looked at the XG stats, especially in the first half. But we were resolute for a change, and I have to give the manager credit for switching it up for a change because he never changes it, especially midfield.
No, that's true. That's true. Resolute and defensively did well. Kobbie Mainoo, I mean, do we have to be careful because we're still in that territory where we don't want to overhype? Is he really good, or is it like actually the people he was playing alongside today can't pass the ball, so anyone would look good in comparison?
Well, Aminor said it earlier. He said that he was the best midfielder in the whole game today, and I agree. He was the best midfielder playing today. He is. I think I've said this before, and people have told me to like calm down and like don't like add too much expectations. But I think he's the truth. There's a reason why Man City wanted to buy him even now.
Yeah,
he's the truth, and we should build our future around him. That's my honest opinion. Yeah,
it's true, and you could see him thriving in a City team, certainly, couldn't you as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
With the way the plays, yeah, exactly. Exactly. So no, I think he deserves all credit today. That front line. Talk to me about the front line at Man United. How are we going to score goals?
How are we going to score goals? You're asking the $1 million question here, Owen. So
yeah,
I'm going to include McTominay in this front line talk because he was pretty much running from midfield going up front, pretty much as like the number 10 / box to box midfielder. These guys don't know how to control the ball. No. Like, in your opinion, Owen, who do you think has a worse touch, Lukaku or Anthony? Or actually, add McTominay in there too. Out of those three, who has the worse touch?
I would say Anthony's first touch is better than them. I think McTominay's and Lukaku's is very close. Very close because it's bad. And I'll throw Amrabat in there as well. It's bad.
Yeah.
The first touch is horrendous. Like them playing at 1-2s. It reminded me of 1-2s in like Sunday League. You know what I mean? Where you go like give and go, and then people are like we can't, and because the ball goes here and it bounces off you in the pitch, it gets stuck in. But these professional footballers play at Anfield.
I've seen underrates do better.
Yeah. It's just.
You know what? This is a good poll idea. You know, if you want, you can ask in the chat like who's got the worst touch out of the three. Actually, instead of Anthony, put Amrabat in there.
Yeah, exactly. Who's got the worst first touch? We're putting in there McTominay,
Lukaku, and Amrabat.
And Amrabat. If I was voting in that, what would I put it on? I tell you what, that's a tough one.
See,
because at least with Lukaku though, it'll be a bad touch, but it'll go in.
Yeah,
so, I mean, they'll get goals. Whereas, like with Amrabat as well, I was thinking this during the game too. For a professional footballer, why can't he run?
I don't think his issue is running. I think his timing is off. His timing is just way off. So when he commits, he doesn't make the right time. He doesn't commit at the right time. That's the word. Yeah. So I think it's just he's too reckless, and I understand why people are saying we should have never have let Fred go, but sometimes you have to move on. And I backed the signing of Amrabat a lot.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've had to let go, man. If he can go back to Fiorentina, go back, man. I even bought his shirt, Owen. I'm an idiot.
You bought the Amrabat shirt?
I have an Amrabat Man United shirt because I wanted to support my African brother.
Oh, man. I didn't realize it was that bad.
I committed. I don't usually back a player like this, but this is what he's done to me. I look like a fool.
The thing is, as well, is I don't
buy shirts. I don't buy shirts.
You don't. You've never again. All right, with the shirts, never again. I've got to have words with Flex because I was in Qatar. I was in the stadium. I watched Morocco play all the
We saw the videos on DR Sports, man.
I did the eye test, mate.
Yeah.
The eye test is Stevie Wondering right now. Okay,
I think Flex might need to go Specsavers. I can't lie.
Yeah, he got to put the glasses back on, like when he's driving, because I mean, it's just physically him moving around today. I was like, he just looks uncomfortable. I'm waiting to find out that he's got some kind of physically, he's got an injury.
Yeah,
has
he got like some broken hips or something?
I don't know. I don't know. Just the mobility and like I appreciate like the endeavor. I do.
Yeah,
I do think Amrabat he works hard, tries to put tackles in, all that kind of stuff. But he just, and to be fair, as the game got on, like after he got booked, he did settle down a little bit, and his movement was a bit better, and he played a bit more simple on the ball. But just long term, when you're looking long term and you're thinking about a team that maybe doesn't underperform like Liverpool did today, that is not sustainable. Like
it's not at all, not at all, man.
As a midfield go, but at the same time, if we have every midfielder available, do you think we see that midfield today?
No chance. I think maybe Mainoo might get some minutes, but I think Riri said it earlier. I mentioned earlier that Eriksen is a huge miss for this team because he's actually really composed on the ball and is a great creator. And I think Eriksen would absolutely start in this team. I'm still not convinced about Mason Mount, but I'm willing to give him a chance. I think Mount would play a lot more games. Of course, the captain plays. Of course, Casemiro plays. And I genuinely reckon Mainoo would get a lot of games this season, a lot more than we think.
Yeah.
Because this guy, he's too good, man. That pass for Garnacho today.
Oh, brilliant.
Who does that in our team?
Yeah.
The only two players I can think of that will do that would be Eriksen and maybe Fernandes, but they're not here.
Yeah. And it's one thing to do the pass; it's another thing to do it at Anfield. Like you have
exactly.
It's very easy in that situation to be like, "I'm just going to play it simple the whole game. It's too much for me." But no, he saw it, threaded it through, and that's when I go back to the point earlier on about like the goals and the strikers and the attacking players. Like that's a chance. Like you've got to make that count. And as much as we criticize Anthony for the end product, is there a bit of a realization again with Garnacho recently? Scores goals against Everton, Galatasaray, good goals, but then the last couple of games has been a bit like, inconsistent Garnacho again. Is that kind of still where he's at, do you think?
He's still a young player, man. I back Garnacho in the long run. I think he will come good and will become a lot sharper. I just think he needs to get into his stride and just learn about making the movement at the right time, because he seems to make it at the wrong time, especially maybe taking the touch too early or maybe taking the touch too late to give the right back some time to actually make the tackle. Just like today with Trent Alexander-Arnold, he got the ball off him like it was nothing and he was like falling over. I just think if he gets his timing right, he's a killer. So I think we've got ourselves a monster there. And even with Højlund, for example, I think I heard what Flex said, and I do agree with him to an extent. I just think if the guy had more service, he'd have some goals right now. So I think Ten Hag needs to fix that, because we've called the number 9 position the graveyard shift for how many years now? And now we've got a kid. I've got a kid playing in that position right now. It's a graveyard. So I feel bad for him. But we'll see, man. This manager has actually shown for a change that he will change his tactics, because for the last how many games he's playing that ridiculous counter pressing style, which did not work for us in a lot of games. And About time he changed it, which is what I've been asking for the longest.
Yeah, absolutely. And finally, games coming up before Christmas. It's well, we got West Ham, and then afterwards we got Aston Villa.
Yeah.
How do you think they're going to go? Are we still a couple of games away from a crisis? Do you think?
So with that in mind, who's coming back? That's the big question.
Yeah, that is a question. I mean, Casemiro's back out on the grass, isn't he? And I think Martinez is. I don't think we see them until next year still, but if they're getting closer. Mason Mount, I swear, a couple of weeks ago was like nearly back. So
that's what I heard, and the same with Ericsson too. If they are back, it will make a big difference for us.
And one game a week. I mean, we talk about Varane and the fact, that he just can't handle the schedule. Well, the schedule now is one game a week. So there's no reason, unless he gets hurt, for him to be dropping out the side all the time.
And I think Pav said this earlier, like Varane has to start every game. I'm in agreement with him. And plus, how can he not play left centre back?
I know.
He's done last two games against Bayern Liverpool. Days. Yeah. Like this guy is made, he has to play every game now, and we can't sell him in January. He cannot leave in January. Just stay till the summer at least. And then if you have to go, you go then. But overall, I'm content. I'm not negative. I'm not going to be mad at anything. But we've got some work to do. And you know what? I believe we're going to get wins, man. We're going to beat West Ham. We're going to beat Villa somehow. But we're going to do it.
There you go. That's the energy I like to end on. Big up, Lil Yo. I appreciate you calling in as always. If you haven't already, click the like button. Let's see this poll. It was a quick fire poll from Lil Yo. Who's got the worst first touch? Lukaku won that. Lukaku won 42%. Tomane with 40. Amrabat 19. Lots of people say no. You know, Amrabat. Let's not criticize the first touch too much. So there you go. Appreciate everyone that's called in. Apologies, I haven't been able to get to everyone's call. As always, we've always got a plethora of calls. It's the fastest hour of content you'll ever see. I try to get to the people we missed out next time, which is next weekend. It's the game after the full-time view after West Ham away, which is an early kickoff. It's 12:30 over here in the UK. So plenty to get into then. Plenty to get into this week, certainly. All of the fan views should be going up right now, if they're not up already, from the guys inside UVHQ today. It's the likes of KG, Flex, Steph, Haley, Marcel, also Good Vibes John, all the way from the US, having his say as well. Player ratings will be in 2. I'll be back live tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. for Match Day Reloaded to relive this all over again, going through all of the reactions, the quotes, the fan views, and anything that happens overnight, because sometimes these little subplots come up and we can get into all of them. So be sure to join me then. In the meantime, have a great evening, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Peace.